One thing I'd like to bounce off you quickly on this topic is a guy who I've been studying lately is John DeMartini, and his whole DeMartini method is basically the universe is balanced, and so we get caught up creating these fantasies like overly positive thoughts about things, and then also tragedies like getting super negative about wiping out your surfboard or whatever. When in reality, the world and our experience, there's an equal positive and negative in everything, and it's just up to you what you choose to focus on. And he says even people dying, even these things that are terrible, divorces, it's like you may not even know what those positives are yet, but they're there. There's no because the world is balanced, the universe is balanced, and Mother Nature seems to present things in that way. What do you think about that?
For me, the analogy that comes to mind or the visual that comes to mind when thinking about, what you just said, these events and stories and interpretations of things that go on in life and things that actually may be going on in life, and how we can begin to sort of stay fully present to them while not being swayed or carried along with them, is I think of them as a pendulum. And this goes back to like Hermetic philosophy and everything, where they talk about the dual nature of everything. Everything has a positive, everything has a negative. One short sidetrack I'll take is that, an analogy I've heard before, which kind of makes sense, is that when you pick up a stick, there's two ends of the stick. So like here I've got a pen, right? There's this end, you could label this as positive and this is negative. So when you pick up a stick, you pick up the entire thing. You don't just pick up the positive side, you pick up the entire spectrum. Similarly, you could apply this to getting involved with a person. When you have a relationship with someone, you let that person into your life. You don't just let the positives in or just the negatives, right? You're taking on and taking up the whole thing. What is in our control is where to adjust that focus, right? It's like, again, it's not groundless positive thinking or saying that this person is something that they're not or has something that they don't. It's choosing to focus on the things that lead to better results, that make us feel better and that make them an improved person. So choosing to focus on those positive things. So I do agree with that, like exercising our freedom to choose where our focus goes and choosing the more positive aspects wherever possible. But the analogy I was starting to make before is there's another way to see this as well, which I think is an important layer, which is, imagine a pendulum for a moment, right? So the pendulum swings back and forth and it has this string that it's attached to. So if we really latch on to the events in life as like being the determinants of how we feel and function, we will just be helplessly pulled along by the ebb and flow of that pendulum. There's another option though, right? A couple of other options. One, we can try and use force to stop that thing from swinging or to mitigate it. I want it to stay on this side and not swing back to the other side, right? We can use all this might to like keep it on one side, which never really works out for too long.
No.
Yeah. Eventually we tire out and it swings all the way back in the other direction, probably further.
Yeah.
The other option is that we can climb the rope. We can climb that string of the pendulum and ideally even make it somewhere toward the top. And the higher you go, the less subject you are to the swings of the pendulum. They're still happening, even violent swings, right? They could still be fully swinging back and forth, but now being somewhere toward the top of that rope, you're really just kind of moving a little bit. You're looking down, noticing that this is going on, but you're not totally drawn in by it.